Good morning. Should be getting this on Friday. Good Friday. Something I can never. I don't think I would say from a pulpit, but how did we call that Good Friday? How did capitalism get Black Friday? I don't know. Uh, Last night would have been Monday, Thursday. The foot washing. We didn't do a foot washing. Jesus did the foot washing. We partook in the Last Supper, the continuance of that. There's the betrayal, the arrest, the initial beating of Jesus, and today we remember his death. Emotions and views around death and dying are complicated. They're raw. They come with layers. You can feel the complexity in your chest. If you've ever lost someone, you know the sadness of them no longer being here. And in some circumstances, depending on who you lost or how you lost them or how long it took for them to finally pass, sometimes there's joy, or not so much a joy, but a gratitude that it finally happened. See what I mean? It's complicated. And Good Friday, like any death, has with it these complications. I've been a part of worship services where the Maundy Thursday service or the Good Friday service. This is not a Methodist tradition, but it was so graphic. Really trying to reenact the death and like level that impact on you so that you walked away knowing exactly like Jesus was brutally murdered. I remember sitting in a congregation and they had a guy in the back hammering nails. It leaves an impact on you to hear nails as you're hearing the story of Jesus being nailed to the cross. I have been in worship services where I don't want to say it was like detached, but it was solemn, like the whole day, because they had a prayer, a space dedicated that was open for the rest of the day and advertised here to pray through grief and funeral, and so grief and funerals and losses and contemplating Jesus's death. And so it was very contemplative. They had like a labyrinth and candles and incense, and there was this whole, And so when you finally got to the service, there was this just kind of an emotional weight to it. And then I'm also, and there's theology that backs all of these understandings of who God is and what death is around these two. And then I remember when I was serving in a Black church, a predominantly African American congregation, Good Friday was the day of the block party. And it was almost a celebration because for them, for that community, it was a recognition that salvation was born today, even though it was the day of his death, that you don't get resurrection without crucifixion. And I think that's got to be birthed out of this historic and contemporary experience of suffering, that when the suffering is over, you can begin to celebrate. All these complications, I think, are on display for me. I mean, my family, we lost somebody last week. We lost my wife's uncle, Neil Johnson. Uh, we knew he was going to pass for the last year and a half. He got pancreatic cancer as a killer. Usually, you only get 6 months. Guy got a little more than a year and a half. And he only wasn't himself. He was only entering into that last phase of death for a very short time. And a lot of people were very relieved. I guess that's the word. Grateful and relieved. that the suffering aspect was short. There's so many of us who feel this like empty space where the place that Neil held in all of our lives. He's only 71, young guy. But he saw his life as a reflection of the life and ministry of Jesus. He put everything, he didn't just believe in the resurrection. He didn't just believe in eternal life. He was counting on it. Smart guy, public defender, and had a private practice at the same time. Uh, and he read the story of the woman caught in adultery. And what was Jesus' response? He who is without sin, cast the first stone. He saw that. He heard that line of Jesus and said, Jesus is the first public defender. Right? And while I would do anything to have him, but with my boys in particular, he had a very special relationship with each one of my sons, and particularly sharing the name with one of them. You know, that guy. Oh, there's still comfort to know that while he is gone, Neil will never die. Because while it's Friday, Sunday's coming. And it's coming for all of us. I'll see you on Sunday. Happy Holy Week.